to tell, cause she's so caked up in all that makeup. If I she trying to make up for what she ain't, but she's a safer. So confused, cause she's been rejected by all these dudes. They tell her on a scale of 10 she's a 2, but that ain't true. If she only knew, in Christ she is loved, she's secure and accepted. Never be rejected by God who's elected her. Her beauty is a godliness, and she ain't got a phone cause it's obvious. Identity is found in the God we trust. Any other identity will self-destruct. Our identity is found in the God we trust. Any other identity will self-destruct. I'm not the shoes I wear, I'm not the clothes I buy, I'm not the house I live in, I'm not the car I drive, I'm not the job I work. You can't define my worth. But like the Lord God's great earth, my identity is found in Christ. It's found in Christ.
I love that song. It's by Lacrae featuring The Truth. Anyway, this is Created in This Image coming to do a quick video about identity. So, I have a concern. I'm a mother. I have 3 beautiful children, and 2, my oldest children, happen to be girls. One is 5 and one is 3. And so I noticed by observation of my friends around me, cousins, you know, things of that nature, that, let me let you know a secret. Sometimes parents, we confuse our children. Yeah, we do. Let me tell you why. So, let me give you some history. So, a couple years ago, I remember watching this Tyra Banks episode, and these little girls on there, they range from like 2 to 10, and they were talking about self-esteem and identity and things of that nature. So, I think they had like 3 or 4 dials, and one had like a long blonde, had a Montana wig. One had like a curly, you know, long curly luscious curls. One had like black, you know, with layers and stuff, and the other was like an afro. And so they asked the kids which ones they liked, and all of them liked 3 out of the 4. And the one that the kids were like, this is just absolutely disgusting, and I would never want my hair to look like that, of course, was the one with the afro. Now I was appalled. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? I mean, like, I had an attitude. I was like, the ghetto neck rolls and stuff. Yeah, it was horrible. I was about to cry, because I was like, I look like that, and these little girls probably be looking at me like, ugh. But anyway, so I decided to, after I went natural, to let my children know that they were beautiful any way they look. So if my child ever had straight hair, she would know that she was pretty. If she had a fro, she would know she was pretty. If she had a puff, she would know she was pretty. If she had twists, braids, barrettes, bows, finger waves, pump waves, you know, mohawk, whatever. I mean, like the real mohawk with the side shade, like that type of mohawk. I mean, if that's what she want to do, cool. But she's beautiful in any state. And this is the conflict that I have with parents, especially mothers, because women or young ladies, even though they love daddy, things of that nature, they have a tendency to want to look like their mother. When mommy look like, that's what I want to look like. So if your child never sees you looking like them, don't you think that could be a little confusing? I mean, for real. Sometimes I think y'all be stressing y'all kids out. Yeah, I be stressed out, and I'm not even your child. And so let's all right. So our kids are pretty smart now. You know, our kids now at like 2, they on the internet, they texting. You know, they typing up dissertations and stuff. I mean, like, our kids are really smart, way smarter than we were. They're bit advanced, and we know this. So don't you think at one point in time, I know my child do. She go, Ma, how come you said that, but really this is this, and that goes with that, and if that don't equal that, then why is this? She asks me stuff like this all the time. She's been doing it since she was like 3, maybe 2. And I'm sure all of your kids are very smart. Children are wonderful, and they're very smart. But it would be very confusing. Like, like I said, my mom gave me a perm at 5. So when I saw her, I saw me. I had straight hair, she had straight hair, or whatever. But for us that want our kids not to have a perm, we want them to look natural, and then they see us rocking bone straight hair. We got the fresh press, never have a fro. If heat get in our hair, we throwing on a wig, or our hair is perm, fried dye latex. We got that new wig that come down like to our inner thigh, and it's just a lot. And I can understand why your kids are confused. Now, if you rock perms, if you rock weaves and stuff, that's great. Whatever works for you. I'm not knocking that. That is whatever makes your heart desire. I do think every woman who has curly hair should at least try it, so you'll know how to handle your hair in its natural state, and you won't be dependent on other stuff. And it's a self-esteem thing, which I'll do in another video. Anyways, back to my topic. But ladies, your kids gotta be confused, and you're sending subliminal messages to them, and you're not doing this on purpose. That really it's not okay to look like you look. And when you get to a certain age, then you need to switch over to have your hair look like mine, because something is wrong with that. Because if something wasn't wrong with the way they look, you would look like your child. Now, I'm not saying you need to be rocking beads looking like Rick James and, with bows and braids. I mean, you're a grown woman. I mean, come on now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you should look like your children. You should encourage them. If you want them, to have natural hair, and you want them to know that they're beautiful. But if you want them to know that they're beautiful, they need to see that reinforced by the way you look. You might not agree with me, and that's okay. That's fine. We all have a variance of opinions, and, that's okay. But I just personally think it's confusing. And, there are some parents who haven't even really considered that. And it's like, dang, I know that could be a little weird. Please consider it, because it's very confusing. I have people all the time that compliment me on my hair. Girl, you rocking it. That's great. And then if they kids' hair is in a ponytail or a puff, they like, oh, you all frustrated with them. How is it cool to give me big ups about my hair and tell me I look cute, but the minute your child look like me, you make them feel like they ugly? Problem. Now, you might not be doing that on purpose. You might not even realize what you're doing. But people, please evaluate what you're doing in front of your children and what you exhibit in front of them, because unintentionally you're telling them that it's not okay to look the way you look. And when you get a certain age, because mommy grown, but when you get a certain age when you make your own decision, the decision is that something wrong with the way you look, because you don't look the way I look, and that's a problem. So ladies, please encourage your children. Let them know that they're beautiful, but let you look like they look sometimes. Let y'all go somewhere with the same hairdo. Let y'all go somewhere and y'all rocking a twist out. Even if you do get your weave done or you get sew-ins and stuff, rock it at least once in a while for a week or two. Like your children, have their hair and let them know that they're beautiful. And if they choose to make alterations, cool, but they don't have to, because they're beautiful just the way they are. So that's my spiel about, self-identity. And then if they hear from mommy when they get old enough to date, which I don't look forward to the day, but they don't have to find affirmation and value by these young men that's going to be around telling them some of everything, because they'll already know. Okay? And fathers, I'm going to need you to step your game up a little bit. I'm just asking. Take your daughter out on dinners and stuff when she's 3 and 4. Take her to nice fancy restaurants. So when old knucklehead come up and he about 16, 17 and he think he doing something, taking her to McDonald's or whatever, she be like, boy, bye. Well, I live in Detroit. It's a real fancy restaurant called the Whitney. It's like a mansion they turned to a restaurant, and it's really expensive. Yeah, fathers, take your daughter to a place like that. So when my man's come and he's 16 trying to wine and dine your daughter at McDonald's, she be like, boy, bye. Because last weekend my daddy took me to the Whitney. You better come better than that. You already built her up. So then, if she not used to daddy or whoever being around to show her that, well, my man's take her to McDonald's and whip out the buy one get one free strawberry lemonade coupon. She won't be like, oh, he brought me that frozen strawberry lemonade. He must love me. I know you might think that's funny, but people do it. That's my spiel. Talk to you later, YouTube. Bye now.